Chapter 84. Su Yiyen looked at the finger that was about to hit her. Her eyes turned cold as she sneered, "I hate it when people point fingers at me." Without waiting for the other two to react, she grabbed Hua Xiaofeng's wrist and pulled him forward. Then, she threw him over her shoulder, bang. Just by listening to the sound, one could imagine how painful it must be for the person who was being thrown around like a sandbag. Su Yiyen was furious and did not show any mercy. Hua Xiaofeng was not only in pain from the lower half of his body, but also felt like his entire body was about to fall apart. He was paralyzed on the ground and could not get up for a long time. Even so, he still stared at Su Yiyen. His ferocious expression was really frightening. "How dare you? How dare you?" "For a cripple, you..." Su Yiyen was about to leave, but when she heard what he said, she immediately turned back and gave him another kick without hesitation. Ah! The miserable shriek made one's hair stand on end, but it was not enough to arouse Su Yiyen's compassion. She was about to explode from anger. "Cripple your sister. Today, I'll let you have a taste of being a cripple," Su Yiyen said as she kicked Hua Xiaofeng with all her strength. She even chose to step on those painful acupoints. "If a tiger doesn't show its might, you guys really think I'm a sick cat." "What did you just say? Was I the one who tried every possible way to marry you? F***ck, does your whole family have Alzheimer's and intermittent amnesia? Back then, it was your parents who took the initiative to come to my house and beg my grandparents. They took advantage of the fact that your mother and my mother were best friends in university and begged my parents to betroth me to you. How long has it been since then? How did it become me trying every possible way to marry you? You're distorting the truth. Aren't you afraid that the wind will cut your tongue? UB**tch. Before Hua Xiaofeng could finish cursing, Su Yiyen kicked him again. "As for the annulment of the engagement and the matter between you and that shameless mistress, do you think you're worthy of it? Do you think that I would give up on such a rare treasure and pick up a pair of used shoes instead?" Hua Xiaofeng was in so much pain that his forehead was drenched in cold sweat. When he heard Su Yiyen describe him as a pair of broken shoes, he almost lost his breath and died of anger on the spot. "You really think you're so popular? Why don't you take a look at yourself? Hua Xiaofeng, as a piece of trash, please stay in the trash. Don't come out and pollute the environment, okay? How dare you compare yourself to my Chenhuan when you're such a coward? How dare you talk about him like that? Who asked you to keep your mouth clean? Who asked you to keep talking? Who asked you to keep talking?" The more Su Yiyen spoke, the angrier she got. She kicked Hua Xiaofeng a few more times. Yu Zian, who was observing from the side, was speechless. He thought that she was a daughter flower that only knew how to cry. He didn't expect her to be a man-eating flower. With that thought in mind, Yu Zian sneaked a peek at Hua Xiaofeng, who was lying on the ground like a dead dog and was barely breathing. At the same time, he couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine. The future young madam's fighting spirit was a little too strong. When he thought about how this young madam might get into an argument with their young master after marrying into the family, that scene, Yu Zian was so scared by his own imagination that he shuddered. However, with how much young master doted on young madam, they probably wouldn't get into an argument. Ahahaha. Chapter 85. After punching Hua Xiaofeng to her heart's content, Su Yiyen felt a little better after venting some of her grievances from 2 lifetimes. She let out a sigh of relief, tidied up her slightly messy clothes, and instantly changed from a domineering flower back to a cute little sweetheart. However, this little sweetheart's words were still full of hostility and threat. "Remember to respectfully call me and Chenhuan uncle and aunt when you see us in the future. Otherwise, I'll cripple you every time I see you." After saying this, Su Yiyen did not even look at Hua Xiaofeng, and hurriedly left in her high heels. Not long after she left, Yu Zian sneaked out from around the corner. Looking down at Hua Xiaofeng, who was not sure if he was alive or dead, he vented his anger and cursed, "Serves you right." After Su Yiyen left, she did not stay outside for long, and quickly returned to the pet shop. The moment she saw Hua Chenhuan, Su Yiyen's originally restless heart finally calmed down completely, and the smile on her face became more genuine. Did you wait long? My stomach suddenly felt a little uncomfortable, so I stayed a little longer. You don't have to apologize. Are you still feeling uncomfortable? Su Yiyen was stunned for a moment before she realized that Hu Chenhuan was asking her if she still felt uncomfortable with her stomach. She did not know why, but her eyes suddenly felt a little sore. God was really unfair. Why should such a good person be looked down upon and slandered by others because of the harm she had suffered in the past? Thinking of this, Su Yiyen felt a little regretful. She should have kicked that scum a few more times. If Yu Zian, who was busy cleaning up the mess, knew what Su Yiyen was thinking at that moment, he would probably sigh and say, "Young mistress, if you kicked him a few more times, he would really die." It's okay, I don't feel uncomfortable anymore. Did you see anything else just now? No, I'm not very familiar with these things. Then forget it, these things are enough for them to play with. Let's go back. Dun Dun must be waiting for us at home. Hu Chenhuan was not in a hurry to answer. Instead, she glanced at Yu Zian, who had just returned with Su Yiyen. After receiving an affirmative nod from the other party, he replied with a faint smile, "All right." Su Yiyen and Su Yiyen got rid of the eyesore and happily went home with the small gifts they had chosen. On the other hand, Wen Jingping, who was finally able to get some fresh air, followed Hu Xiaofeng to the shopping mall to pick out clothes, was not so lucky. She waited in the clothing store for a long time, but Hu Xiaofeng didn't come back. She called him several times, but no one answered. In the end, he could only change out of the clothes he had chosen under the waiter's meaningful gaze and leave in a sorry state. After coming out of the clothing store, Wen Jingping's entire face was dark. She suppressed her anger and took out her phone to call Hu Xiaofeng again. Of course, the call didn't go through again. Wen Jingping was so angry that her teeth itched. She directly blocked Hu Xiaofeng's phone number. She opened her contact list and wanted to call a friend over to pick her up. However, a private message suddenly popped up in the back end of her live stream room. The content of the private message was not unfamiliar to her. The general idea was that someone in the gourmet area had plagiarized her live stream and had gained the support of many people. At first, Wen Jingping didn't pay much attention to it. She felt that no matter what, these people couldn't be a threat to her. They were just imitating others. Until she saw the holographic image of the spicy boiled fish at the end of the private message, Wen Jingping's pupils shrank. The hand holding the phone trembled. Chapter 86. Su Yiyen didn't know that Wen Jingping had noticed her with just a holographic projection and was afraid of her. Sure enough, Dun Dun liked the small gifts that the two of them brought back. As soon as they were handed to it, it pounced on it and hugged it tightly. Su Yiyen took the opportunity to stuff the dog and the gifts into Hu Chenhuan's hands and let him bring them home. Poor Dun Dun was given away again after returning home for a few hours. Before it left, it almost cried, threw a tantrum, and acted cute. It clung tightly to its owner's sleeves and refused to let go. Helpless, its owner had a stepfather. She had long changed from a biological mother to a stepmother. No matter how shamelessly it threw a tantrum, it couldn't beat a soft call from its stepfather. Chi-Chi's flight is tomorrow morning. I have to pick her up. Let's have lunch together. Okay. Hu Chenhuan didn't really like to meet strangers unless it was unavoidable for business. But he liked it when Su Yiyen took the initiative to introduce her friends to him. This made him feel that Su Yiyen was trying to integrate him into her life and make him a part of her life. Late that night, the old family residence was dark. It was quiet downstairs. There wasn't anyone around. Only in a corner of the courtyard, a person was waving a shovel miserably and digging a hole in despair. Suddenly, a series of footsteps came from behind. The figure waving the shovel froze. Like a rusty robot, he turned his head and looked over. After confirming that there was nothing behind him, he heaved a sigh of relief. Who knew that in the next second, a hand would be placed on his shoulder? The late-night gardener was speechless. Ow, ow, ow. Don't come over, don't come over. If you come over again, I'll hit you. I'll really hit you. What are you shouting for in the middle of the night? Aren't you afraid of waking young master up? The familiar scolding made Yuzian's head go blank. He opened his eyes tentatively. After seeing the two people not far away, he asked in a daze, Xiaoyang? Yanbai? Gu Xiaoyang rolled his eyes at him. Who else could it be? Yuzian's legs turned to jelly. He said angrily, you two are too much. You came up behind me without saying anything and even patted my shoulder. Don't you know that you can scare me to death? TSK, so the two of us came over to show concern for you, but we were wrong? Yanbai, let's go. Don't bother with this ingrate. Are you here to show concern for me? You're obviously here to laugh at me. Pfft. It would have been better if Yuzian had not mentioned it. Gu Xiaoyang could not help but laugh out loud. Ha ha ha, you too. You went out with young madam and got yourself such a job. I'm dying of laughter. Yuzian saw him laughing and became even angrier. He raised the shovel and was about to shovel him. What are you laughing at? Not only are you not helping me, you're even laughing at me. What kind of brother are you? All right. Both of you, enough is enough. Zhua Yanbai stood between the two of them and held Yuzian's hand. He said with a headache, what's going on? Didn't you accompany young master to Miss Su's house today? What happened? Why did Xian start farming as soon as he came back? When Yuzian heard the word farmer, he felt like he had nothing left to live for. Gu Xiaoyang couldn't help but laugh out loud again. It's like this. Miss Su's best friend is coming back tomorrow. After lunch, the two of them invited each other to go shopping and buy gifts for her. Chapter 87. Gu Xiaoyang could totally understand Zhua Yanbai's shock. Yes, you didn't hear wrongly. Young master went shopping with Miss Su today. Miss Su even bought a lot of hats and scarves for young master, and young master put them all in his wardrobe. Zhua Yanbai's face was full of surprise, but when he thought about Miss Su, he felt that it was only natural. In this world, only Miss Su could make their young master change for her willingly. If you want to go shopping, then go shopping. Young master won't punish you for no reason. Did you do something to make young master angry? Yuzian looked embarrassed. Gu Xiaoyang coughed softly and said in disgust, speaking of which, the culprit is actually Hua Xiaofeng. What does this have to do with Hua Xiaofeng? Yuzian's face darkened. He told Gu Xiaofeng about how Hua Xiaofeng bribed a customer in the pet shop to pour water on Su Yiyan, forcing Su Yiyan to go to the bathroom to clean up. Then, he followed Su Yiyan all the way to the bathroom door and said a lot of disgusting things to her. He told her everything in detail about how Hua Xiaofeng angered their future young madam and how she was killed. He even emphasized the words that Hua Xiaofeng used to attack their young master. You don't know, but Miss Su listened to Hua Xiaofeng at first. Although she was very impatient, she didn't want to talk to him. But when he mentioned young master, Miss Su's face suddenly changed. She looked at Hua Xiaofeng as if he wanted to eat someone. Then Hua Xiaofeng started to have bad luck. You didn't see how he looked like. He was almost pressed to the ground and beaten by Miss Su. Just thinking about it makes me happy. Yuzian couldn't help but laugh at the end. In fact, when Hua Chenhuan asked him to be in charge of Su Yiyan's public relations, he didn't dare to have any objections on the surface, but he was actually not very happy about it. However, after this incident, Yuzian had completely changed his view of Su Yiyan. He was no longer dissatisfied with Hua Chenhuan's previous arrangements. From now on, he had to work hard and cling onto the thigh of the future young madam so that he could reach the peak of his life. Hearing his words, Zhua Yanbai thought of something else. Miss Su seemed to be especially thin and small when she was young. The Su family was worried that she would be bullied by her peers because of her thin and weak body, so they hired many masters to teach her martial arts. It's normal that Hua Xiaofeng couldn't control her. This time, he really kicked an iron plate. Serves you right. You weren't there at the time, but I heard it clearly. It was his parents who begged Miss Sue's parents to betroth Miss Sue to him. In the end, they accused Miss Sue of still having feelings for him and pretended to persuade Miss Sue not to be with young master. Did they really think that no one knew what their family was up to? The Sue family took the initiative to marry our young master. Hua Chihan probably can't even sleep well now, right? He even said that he was destined to be with that mistress, and that he could be friends with Miss Sue even if they couldn't be husband and wife. I almost vomited when I heard it, let alone Miss Sue. She's probably disgusted. Gu Xiaoyang sneered and mocked, like father, like son. Don't their family have done enough disgusting things? Chapter 88. Yu Zian rubbed his nose guiltily and laughed dryly. Aren't I just curious? Don't you dare say that you're not curious about Miss Sue's feelings towards Hua Xiaofeng at all? What do you think of our young master? The two of them choked, unable to refute. They were indeed curious about Su Yiyan's feelings towards Hua Chenhuan. When Hua Xiaofeng broke off the engagement, she suddenly announced that she wanted to marry Hua Chenhuan. It was quite thought-provoking. Not to mention Hua Xiaofeng's wishful thinking, they also had doubts in their hearts before this. They were worried that Su Yiyan's decision was just a spur-of-the-moment decision, a means for her to take revenge on the family Hua and Hua Xiaofeng. This was also the main reason why Yu Zian didn't jump out to help at the start, but instead sat on the sidelines and watched for a long time. He wanted to see how Su Yiyan would react to Hua Xiaofeng, and how she would react to his words. Most importantly, when the other party mentioned Hua Chenhuan, would she choose to silently agree or take the initiative to defend him? The results of his probing were delightful, but he also paid a painful price for it. Moreover, didn't Miss Sue come out unscathed in the end? Don't think that he didn't notice that when he told her what Su Yiyan said to Hua Xiaofeng to defend him, his eyes were filled with adoration. After all, he had been by Hua Chenhuan's side for more than 10 years. How could Yu Zian not see that his young master was secretly happy under his expressionless face? In other words, in the end, the two young lovers were happy, but the one who was hurt was him, a single dog. It was really a tragedy. If Miss Sue wasn't fine, do you think young master would just punish you as simple as farming? He would have sent you to the border and let you fend for yourself. Yu Zian was just saying it, he didn't really have much of an opinion about the punishment. What he cared more about was, oh, of all the things Miss Sue likes, why does she have to like blue roses? This is great. Young master wants me to plant blue roses in this courtyard, and I have to plant them all. How long do I have to be busy for? All right, be content. It's good enough that young master didn't ask you to plant blue roses in the manor. Yu Zian shuddered when he imagined the consequences. Even the small garden in front of him seemed much more pleasing to the eye. Zhua Yanbai saw the look of fear on his face and tried to hold back her laughter. By the way, what happened to Hua Xiaofeng and the person who poured water on Miss Sue in the pet shop? What else can we do? To dare to casually take a stranger's money and help him lure a girl out, he's either stupid or greedy by nature. I'm the best at dealing with such people. Since Gu Xiaoyang had said so much, the two of them could roughly guess what happened to that person, so they didn't ask any more questions. As for Hua Xiaofeng, Yu Zian chuckled. At that time, I saw it clearly. Young madam kicked him 3 or 4 times. She didn't hold back at all. It's best to kick that bastard until he can no longer have sex. Let's see if he dares to talk about young master's disability in the future. Every time I see him, I'll beat him up. Humph. Gu Xiaoyang and Zhua Yanbai froze for a moment and shuddered unconsciously. They couldn't blame Yu Zian for completely changing his attitude towards Miss Sue this time. Chapter 89. They secretly hoped that Hua Xiaofeng would be disabled. However, Hua Xiaofeng was the male protagonist of the original novel. Even though he had been kicked repeatedly by Su Yiyan, some of his functions were fortunately preserved. However, it would be difficult to use them in the future, and it would be difficult for him to use them in the next 1 or 2 years. Even so, Hua Xiaofeng, who woke up and learned of the diagnosis, was so angry that he almost fainted on the spot. Lying in bed, he yelled and screamed and overturned the table beside the bed. Pieces of melon and fruit were scattered all over the floor. It was a mess. B*TCH, B*TCH. I'm going to kill her, kill her. Mrs. Hua's eyes were slightly red, and her heart ached. Xiaofeng, calm down. Don't hurt yourself. I'm already in this state. How can I calm down? Dad, you have to help me. That B*TCH has gone too far. She wants to end our family's bloodline. It would have been better if Hua Xiaofeng hadn't said anything. After hearing what he said, Hua Qihan's face darkened. He picked up a glass that had survived and threw it directly at Hua Xiaofeng. Hua Xiaofeng couldn't move and couldn't dodge at all. He could only face this terrible situation with a pale face. Mrs. Hua screamed and almost fainted on the spot. Fortunately, Hua Qihan didn't really want to kill his only son. The glass finally fell on the edge of the bed. With a crash, it fell to the ground and broke into pieces. There was a moment of dead silence in the ward. Mrs. Hua's legs went weak and she almost fell to the ground. Qihan, what are you doing? Xiaofeng is your son, and he was just beaten up like this. How can you? Why can't I? I can't wait to stuff this guy back into your belly and pretend that I don't have a son. How can you say such a thing? Why can't I say it? Ask your good son what he has done. Mrs. Hua choked. Even if he did something wrong, that little B*TCH shouldn't have hit him like that. It's considered light that they beat her up like this. Hua Qihan pulled up a holographic video with a dark face and directly showed it to his wife. The two protagonists in the video were very close to each other. It was a complete reenactment of the scene where Hua Xiaofeng blocked Su Yiyan and said a lot of things to her. Mrs. Hua's face turned red when she heard Su Yiyan's questions. Wasn't that right? Back then, it was because they had taken a fancy to Qing Shuqin's family background and connections that they used the guise of being best friends to matchmake Su Yiyan and Hua Xiaofeng. The Su family thought about it for a while and agreed to the marriage. The Hua family naturally thought that Su Yiyan must be interested in their son to agree to the marriage. Over time, they almost tacitly agreed to this matter and selectively forgot that they were the ones who proposed the marriage in the first place. Mrs. Hua felt her face hurt when someone pointed it out so bluntly. Watching the video again, Hua Qihan was even angrier. Do you know who sent this video? Who is it? It's Hua Qinhuan's subordinate. I've lived for more than 40 years, and I've never been so humiliated like today. If it weren't for Hua Xiaofeng's half-dead appearance, he really wanted to kick his troublesome son to death. Chapter 90. Hua Xiaofeng's face turned pale when he saw the video. He said in disbelief, Uncle. Uncle's people sent this? How could Uncle's people have this video? Then they also know what I said about Uncle. Now you know what fear is? Why didn't you think before you said it? Hua Qihan was really angry with his stupid son. They were indeed laughing at Hua Qinhuan's disability in their hearts. Jokes aside, no one dared to say it out loud. This stupid thing mocked and ridiculed in front of someone's fiancé. Who else would they hit if not you? What angered him the most was that even he, an outsider, could see that when Hua Xiaofeng first said those words, Su Yiyan's expression was very impatient and full of sarcasm and disdain. However, this stupid thing seemed to be blind and expressed his magnanimity one-sidedly. In the end, he even involved the topic of Hua Qinhuan. What a pig's brain. If Hua Qinhuan released this video, not only would Hua Xiaofeng become a laughing stock, but he, as his father, would also become a laughing stock. Stay in the hospital for treatment for the next few days. After you're discharged, stay at home and rest well. Don't worry about the company's affairs. Hua Xiaofeng and his mother's faces changed drastically. Mrs. Hua couldn't help but scream, Qihan, you can't do this. Xiaofeng just joined the company not long ago. What will the others think of him? What will the others say when he returns to the company in the future? Help him think of a way, think of a way. Think of a way? I can't even protect myself. How can I protect such a stupid thing? Do you think our family is not dying fast enough? They planned it. They must have planned it. This is a conspiracy, Dad. This must be Hua Chenhuan's conspiracy. They don't want me to join the company and inherit the Hua Corporation. I was set up by them. So what if it's a conspiracy? Why did you jump into such an obvious trap? Where's your brain? Did you lose your brain from talking about a girlfriend? After scolding him, Hua Qihan seemed to have thought of something and said coldly, what about his girlfriend? Didn't he say that he had gone shopping with her before the accident? Now that Xiaofeng is lying here, where is she? She. When she heard Hua Qihan mention that woman, Mrs. Hua's face darkened. I just used Xiaofeng's phone to call her a few times, but she didn't answer. It seems that she blocked me. You've just been admitted to the hospital and they've already blacklisted you. This is the woman you chose. With that, Hua Qihan left with a cold face, leaving Mrs. Hua and Hua Xiaofeng at a loss. After a long while, Mrs. Hua seemed to have finally found her voice. Heartbroken, she said, Xiaofeng, what's wrong with you? Why do you want a wild girl who doesn't care about you instead of a rich girl? Mom, why are you, me too? Did I say something wrong? If you hadn't been so willful, the situation wouldn't be like this. Mom, you're too naive. It's obvious that the cripple deliberately set me up. Even if I go to her, they will definitely come to me. Chapter 91. If it weren't for his actions, Su Yiyan wouldn't even have met him, let alone set him up. However, Mrs. Hua, who was used to listening to her son's every word, did not suspect anything. She even resented Su Yiyan and Qing Shuqin because of this. Since they had already broken off the engagement, why did they still cause trouble for her son and help Hua Chenhuan, who was their enemy? Hua Xiaofeng and Mrs. Hua believed that this was a trap that was trying their best to drive him out of the Hua Corporation. However, the truth was that Hua Chenhuan was also watching the video that Yu Zian had taken. It was the full version of the video that had not been edited. He replayed the clip of Su Yiyan beating Hua Xiaofeng over and over again. Su Yiyan was clearly indifferent when he was talking about himself, but when Yu Zian talked about his body's flaws, he suddenly exploded and wanted to kill him on the spot. Could it be that in Su Yiyan's heart, he had become the reverse scale that no one could easily touch? This realization made Hua Chenhuan excited. It was clearly a picture of two people, but he could only see one person. That person was like a huge ball of light that attracted his attention at any time and place, making it impossible for him to look away. Dun Dun, who was playing with a ball of yarn in its kennel, suddenly heard its master's voice. Its little ears immediately perked up. It immediately dropped the ball of yarn and rushed out like a small cannonball, wanting to hug its master's leg. The result was predictable. This little meatball slid forward like a wild goose landing on the sand. It took a long time for it to react to what had happened. Fortunately, this little guy's adaptability was not bad. Although it did not understand why it couldn't pounce on its master, it quickly recovered and ran to the bottom of the image to circle around its master. When Dun Dun realized that its master might have neglected it because he was fighting with someone else, its soft fur stood on end. It roared at Hua Xiaofeng in the video, and even wanted to pounce on him and bite him. Naturally, he fell to the ground again and slid forward for a distance. Pfft! When Hua Chenhuan saw this scene, she was finally amused by this little idiot's acting. Dun Dun. Do I not care about my reputation? In order to prevent the little fellow from flying into a rage out of humiliation and ignoring her like it did 2 days ago, Hua Chenhuan took the initiative to move over and pick it up. She whispered, "You also think that she's amazing, right?" The little fellow's ears perked up again. After a while, it raised its head proudly, with a proud look that said, "Since you praised my master, I won't lower myself to your level." Hua Chenhuan smiled slightly and reached out to rub the little fellow's fluffy head. "Tomorrow, I'll take you to see your Hua Hua." The little fellow's head suddenly rose up, and its two paws proactively rested on Hua Chenhuan's arm. Its black grape-like round eyes stared at Hua Chenhuan, shining with excitement and joy, as if it was asking, "Really? Is that true?" Hua Chenhuan, whose treatment had suddenly increased by several times, was startled. She laughed and said, "This happy look is very similar to your master. People say that pets follow their masters. It seems that it's not unreasonable." Dun Dun didn't understand what he said, and tilted its head in confusion. "Be good tonight. Tomorrow, I'll take you to see your Hua Hua." Chapter 92. In the spacious and bright reception hall, a tall and slim figure slowly walked over from afar. The person was wearing a beige vest paired with casual denim pants. She looked warm and fashionable. She was low-key, but at the same time, she had a cold aura that made people not dare to approach her easily. The most eye-catching thing was that she was holding a soft brown corgi in her arms. This little corgi was like a little princess sitting on a golden throne. It sat in its master's arms with a clear conscience. Its chin was slightly raised, and it patrolled its territory with a particularly cold attitude. "Xiaoqi, over here." Su Yiyan saw the familiar figure of the master and pet from afar and quickly waved to greet them. Ling Xiaoqi heard her voice and quickly took off her sunglasses. The coldness on her face was immediately melted by a warm smile. "Have you been waiting for a long time? Why are you here so early? I thought I would have to wait for a while. I can't wait to see you in Hua Hua." As soon as Su Yiyan approached, she couldn't control herself and hugged her best friend who had done a lot for her in her previous life but didn't have a good ending in the end. Ling Xiaoqi was stunned by her hug. She blinked in confusion and scolded with a smile, "Why are you suddenly so intimate? All right, hurry up and get up. Don't press on Hua Hua." Su Yiyan hugged her for a while before reluctantly letting go. She turned her attention to the little corgi in her arms. "Hey, Hua Hua, do you still recognize Auntie Yian? Come, let me hug you." Hua Hua tilted its head and looked at Su Yiyan for a while. It gave Su Yiyan face and stretched out its hand. Su Yiyan was overjoyed. She carefully took Hua Hua out of Ling Xiaoqi's arms, pinched its soft little paw, and said happily, "Hua Hua is still as cute and well-behaved as before, unlike the one in my house who only knows how to run around all day and occasionally tear down the house like a husky. It's really worrisome." When Hua Hua heard Su Yiyan's words, she immediately lifted her chin. Clearly, she was very pleased with Su Yiyan's praise. Ling Xiaoqi shook her head helplessly and looked around. "Right, where's Dun Dun? Why didn't she come with you?" "At my fiancé's place." "Where's your fiancé?" Ling Xiaoqi was shocked. Su Yiyan valued Dun Dun as much as she valued Hua Hua. This fiancé that she had never met could make Su Yiyan keep Dun Dun by his side. This was definitely true love. "Speaking of which, what's going on between you and your current fiancé? I heard that you and that Hua Xiaofeng have already broken up." "It's a long story. You and Hua Hua rushed back early in the morning, so you must be hungry. We've already booked a private room at a high-end restaurant nearby. Let's go there and eat while we talk." Ling Xiaoqi thought for a moment and did not refuse. The restaurant that Hua Chenhuan booked was not far away. They arrived in a few minutes. As soon as they walked through the door of the restaurant, Dun Dun, who had been eagerly waiting in the private room, seemed to have sensed something. He suddenly jumped down from Hua Chenhuan's lap and rushed out happily. When Su Yiyan heard the sound, she knew that her dog had come. She looked helpless and was prepared to be pounced on. Unexpectedly, the dog did not even look at her. He went around her and accurately hugged Ling Xiaoqi's thigh. He looked eagerly at Hua Hua in her arms and called out a few times to please her. Chapter 93. This is Dun Dun? Ling Xiaoqi was stunned for a moment before she recognized the dog that was hugging her thigh the moment they met. It was Su Yiyan's Zai Zai that she had mentioned not long ago. Dun Dun has become so strong in just a few months. When Dun Dun heard the praise of its future mother-in-law, it barked even more happily, vowing to attract the attention of its future wife. Unfortunately, Hua Hua, who was nestled in its owner's arms, only glanced at it coldly and disdainfully when it heard its owner praising another dog. Then, it looked away unhappily and ignored it. Dun Dun didn't mind. It was still looking at its owner with eager eyes, looking very much like a bootlicker. The corner of Su Yiyen's mouth twitched. Finally, she couldn't hold back anymore. She went forward and picked up her heartless dog son. She coughed lightly and said, "Let's talk inside. Let's talk inside." Awoo. Dun Dun barked sadly. Obviously, it wasn't very happy to be picked up. Su Yiyen was so angry that she slapped its chubby little butt a few times. Once it saw the little beauty, it couldn't move. This little ingrate. Fortunately, her fiancé's gentle call quickly pulled Su Yiyen out of the negative energy that filled her stomach. Su Yiyen threw away her unfilial dog son and returned to Hua Chenhuan's side. Dun Dun, who had been abandoned, was speechless. Gu Xiaoyang, who had suddenly been entrusted to his care, was speechless. "Let me introduce you. This is my fiancé, Hua Chenhuan. Chenhuan, this is the friend I told you about before, Ling Xiaoqi." Hua Chenhuan shook Su Yiyen's hand and nodded politely at Ling Xiaoqi. "Hello, Miss Ling, hello." Ling Xiaoqi looked at Hua Chenhuan with surprise and curiosity. When she was overseas, she had heard from Su Yiyen that her fiancé was Hua Xiaofeng's uncle. She had estimated his age to be in his early 30s. But now that they had met him, they realized that he was in his early 30s. If he were to say that he was the same age as Su Yiyen, they might even believe it. Ling Xiaoqi had met Hua Xiaofeng once before, but she didn't have a good impression of him. Now that he saw Hua Chenhuan, he couldn't help but compare him to Hua Xiaofeng. With this comparison, she suddenly understood why Su Yiyen wanted to change her fiancé. Not to mention his appearance and temperament, just by looking at the way the person in front of her faced Su Yiyen, she could tell that he loved her very much and cared about her very much. As long as she was there, he would not see anyone else in his eyes. Just this point alone made him 100 times better than that arrogant Hua Xiaofeng. The only regrettable thing was, Ling Xiaoqi looked at Hua Chenhuan's seat with pity. Hua Chenhuan saw Ling Xiaoqi sizing him up, but he didn't feel offended. Over the years, many people had looked at him with malice. This kind of pity was already considered very kind. Su Yiyen saw that the two of them didn't dislike each other, so she was slightly relieved. She smiled faintly and said, "Take a seat first." "Have you ordered?" "I ordered some. You can decide the rest." Su Yiyen nodded and handed the menu to Ling Xiaoqi. "He booked the private room today, and he's also the one who invited the guests. Feel free to order whatever you want. You don't have to be polite with him." Hua Chenhuan smiled helplessly, but more than that, he was indulging her. Ling Xiaoqi's impression of Hua Chenhuan improved. She was only Su Yiyen's friend, but Hua Chenhuan was willing to make such thoughtful arrangements to receive her. It was obvious that he loved her because he loved her. Chapter 94. Since Su Yiyen had said so, Ling Xiaoqi didn't stand on ceremony and ordered a few of her favorite dishes. After ordering, Ling Xiaoqi put Hua Hua down for the time being. Not far away, Dun Dun's eyes lit up when he saw Hua Hua leave Ling Xiaoqi's arms. He kicked his little legs and was about to pounce in the direction of Hua Hua. Gu Xiaoyang almost couldn't catch him. He had to look at Su Yiyen for help. Su Yiyen's mouth twitched slightly. She gave up and said, "Put it down." The two little guys were so little the last time they met. They probably don't remember each other. Put them together and get to know each other again. Su Yiyen felt guilty when she said that. She didn't know if Hua Hua still remembered Dun Dun, but Dun Dun, this little idiot, must have always remembered this little fiancé. As soon as Gu Xiaoyang put it down, Dun Dun immediately went to Hua Hua's side and rubbed his head. In the end, he even used his chubby little butt to bump Hua Hua. Fortunately, both of them were puppies. Otherwise, Dundon's behavior would have been seen as a hooligan. However, his behavior was not much different from a hooligan. Although Hua Hua didn't have much of a reaction, she didn't pay attention to him from beginning to end. Her face was cold and impatient, as if saying, "Don't touch me." Dundon saw that Hua Hua didn't pay attention to him for a long time, so he finally made a big move. He kicked forward hard and wanted to pounce on Hua Hua. Hua Hua was instantly irritated. She screamed and bent her body into an arch shape. Then, she pounced on Dundon and attacked with both hands. In a moment, Dundon was rewarded with countless 9 white bone claws. The brown dog's fur was scattered all over the place. Soon, it was all over the ground. Dundon was also stunned by the beating. Before he could resist, he was stepped on by his wife and couldn't turn over. Su Yiyen and the others were caught off guard and witnessed a dog version of domestic violence. This big battle, or rather, this one-sided beating, ended with Dundon lying on the ground in a daze, not knowing what to do. Hua Hua's right front leg was pressed on its dog face, and its chin was raised high, as if it was a tyrant punching a bully and kicking a hoodlum. The battle ended with Dundon Su Yiyen, Ling Xiaoqi, the onlookers. Ling Xiaoqi was the first to react. She waved at her dog and said, "Ahem. Hua Hua, get off Dundon and come here." Although Hua Hua was still enjoying the thrill of stepping on Dundon, it obediently returned to Ling Xiaoqi when it heard its owner's call. Su Yiyen breathed a sigh of relief when she saw this. She reached out and poked Dundon, who was still lying on the ground like a corpse, as if she expected better from him. "Look at you, being beaten by your own wife. Losing the first battle has already determined your position in the family. Sorry, Hua Hua has been spoiled by me. She's usually not so fierce." Ling Xiaoqi and Su Yiyen had a good relationship. If only the two of them were present today, they would definitely treat this as a small fight between dogs. They might even get together and talk about it. But there were other people in the house, and according to what Su Yiyen said, Dundon was now under Hua Qinhuan's care. Ling Xiaoqi couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed when this happened. Chapter 95. Dundon barked when it heard its master's words. It wasn't that it couldn't beat its wife. It loved its wife and didn't dare to fight with it because it was afraid of hurting her. "Master, it's fine if you don't comfort me, but you're pouring cold water on me." Dundon felt really wronged. Although Hua Qinhuan could understand Dundon's feelings, he, who always believed that his wife came first, could only agree with Su Yiyen unconditionally. Well, it's Dundon's problem. It has nothing to do with Hua Hua. Dundon. It couldn't have a stepfather and stepmother anymore. It wanted to run away from home and go home with Hua Hua. Gu Xiaoyang stood on the side and watched the show with great interest. He nodded in agreement when he heard their words. Wasn't that right? If it couldn't even beat a little bitch, how could it find a wife in the future? It could only blame itself for being too weak. How could it be blamed on a little bitch? Gu Xiaoyang suddenly froze when he thought of this. He stared at the pink puppy under Su Yiyen's hand and said in disbelief, "This dog is a male?" Gu Xiaoyang's scream, which was so loud that it almost changed his voice, successfully attracted the attention of everyone present. Su Yiyen's hand that was stroking Dundon suddenly paused. She turned to look at him in confusion. "Don't you know?" Gu Xiaoyang's mouth twitched slightly. He thought to himself, what would I know? Since the dog had lived in the family Hua's old house, it had been treated like an emperor. Except for buying things, everything was done by the young master. They couldn't even get close to it or touch it. How could they know if it was a male or female? Not to mention, it was dressed in such a flashy manner. Gu Xiaoyang was just about to complain when his young master's gaze locked on him. The words that were about to come out of his mouth were stuck in his throat, and his whole face turned red. Ling Xiaoqi saw his embarrassment and hurriedly tried to smooth things over. "Actually, you can't blame him for misunderstanding. When I first saw Dundon, I also thought it was. Our Hua Hua even treated it like a sister." Hua Hua, who was nestled in Ling Xiaoqi's arms, suddenly cried out when she heard her master's words. She looked at Dun Dun with murderous eyes. Su Yiyan scratched his face guiltily, feeling a little distressed. Hua Chenhuan narrowed her eyes and asked in a low voice, "What's wrong?" Dun Dun. "Actually, it's nothing much. Dun Dun was just a few days old when I brought him home. He was so small, weak, and pitiful. My mom thought it was something new, so she helped me with its basic necessities. She even dug out some old clothes with the auntie at home to make small clothes for Dun Dun. In the end, Dun Dun didn't wear any other clothes, but insisted on wearing this kind of pink with lace." Gu Xiaoyang and the others understood at once. It turned out that this guy was a proper cross-dressing dog. If this happened to other people, my mom might complain a little. But on Dun Dun, my mom only thought it was cute, so she let it dress like this. Hua Hua was adopted by Xiaoqi half a month after that. Considering that the two guys were the same kind, she often took them out to play together. The two little guys became familiar with each other. Ling Xiaoqi sighed when she heard this and interrupted, "At that time, I saw it dressed like that and took it for a girl." Hua Hua also did the same. "I thought they were sisters, but I didn't expect." Everyone in the room looked at Hua Hua with sympathy. This was really the real-life version of, "I treat you as a sister, but you want to f***ck me." Chapter 96. Gu Xiaoyang looked at Hua Hua as if he was looking at an innocent woman who had been molested by a bully, and Dun Dun was that bully. Dun Dun, the cross-dressing bully, bully Dun Dun, woof woof woof, woo. Dun Dun rubbed against Ling Xiaoqi and reached out his paw to touch Hua Hua. As expected, he received another round of beating, and his brown fur fluttered like snowflakes in the air again. What was worse was that this time, under Hua Hua's paw, a tuft of fur on Dun Dun's head was completely used up, and a small part of it collapsed, revealing his tender skin. To put it bluntly, he was bald. Pfft. Ha 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 ha. Su Yiyan laughed out loud when she saw this scene. Hua Chenhuan held her shoulders to prevent her from laughing too hard and falling off the chair. However, his eyes were also gleaming with schadenfreude, just like Su Yiyan's. Dun Dun listened to its owner's laughter, and its round eyes were full of confusion. Finally, perhaps it felt a little cold on top of its head, so it turned to look at the glass door in the private room and saw the familiar yet strange bald dog. Dun Dun tilted its head in confusion, and the bald dog tilted its head as well. Dun Dun stretched out his paw, and the bald dog stretched out its paw as well. After a few times, Dun Dun finally realized that something was wrong. Wait, this dog was him? He was bald? Dun Dun looked as if he had been struck by lightning, and he staggered back a few steps in shock. Finally, he sat down on the table, and with a gloomy expression on his face, he shut himself up. Su Yiyan looked at her family's dramatic dog, and the smile that she had managed to stabilize almost collapsed again. Fortunately, the dishes they had ordered before were served one after another, and she was successfully rescued from her dog's laughable stupidity. The restaurant that Hua Chenhuan had chosen was a relatively famous high-end restaurant, and the people who could dine here were either rich or respectable. Therefore, the cost of this meal was naturally not low. However, after eating Su Yiyan's personally cooked Sichuan poached fish, crayfish, and other dishes, Hua Chenhuan was a little repulsed by these dishes that used to be edible. She barely touched her chopsticks during the meal. Although Su Yiyan was talking to Ling Xiaoqi, part of her attention was still on Hua Chenhuan. Seeing this, she couldn't help but ask, "Hua Chenhuan, why are you eating so little? Do you have no appetite, or the dishes here are not to your taste?" Hua Chenhuan did not hide the truth and said honestly, "It's not as good as yours." Su Yiyan was slightly stunned. She remembered that Hua Chenhuan had a strong taste. Other than her, there were no strong seasonings like chili on the market, so the dishes she made were naturally not as good. "Then I'll cook for you another day when I'm free. Do you want the ones you've eaten before or something else? There are actually many spicy dishes that you can choose from." "Anything is fine. As long as it's made by you, I'll love it." The two of them whispered as if there was no one else around, thinking that no one could hear them except for each other. Little did they know that when they whispered to each other, pink bubbles kept popping up around them, making it difficult for people to ignore them. Gu Xiaoyang covered his eyes with hidden bitterness, looking as if he had been blinded. Chapter 97. While you were abroad, I learned a thing or two from Aunt Li. If you want to eat it, I'll make some for you to try when I'm free. Ling Xiaoqi's expression stiffened slightly, and she said rudely, "Are you sure you want me to try it and not test for poison?" It was no wonder that Ling Xiaoqi had such an idea. Everyone knew how precious a chef, especially a good chef, was in this era. For a chef, cooking skills and recipes were the foundation of their livelihood. Even their employer could not make them hand over these things. Aunt Li was the cook of the Su family, but Ling Xiaoqi did not believe that she was willing to teach Su Yiyan cooking skills. Su Yiyan knew what she was thinking when she saw her reaction. She snorted and said, "It's up to you whether you want to eat it or not. There are many people who want to eat my dishes now." Ling Xiaoqi laughed but did not ask any more questions. She just treated it as a little fun between the two of them. After lunch, Hua Chenhuan walked in front with Dun Dun, while Su Yiyan accompanied Ling Xiaoqi and followed behind. Ling Xiaoqi glanced at Hua Chenhuan, who got along well with Dun Dun, and suddenly said, "Yiyan, after I came back this time, I feel that you have changed a little." Su Yiyan's heart suddenly thumped. "What changed?" "I can't tell. I just feel that you're a little different from before." Su Yiyan's mood was a little complicated. She was suddenly reborn. Although her temperament did not change drastically, her attitude towards some people was indeed very different from before. She just did not expect that the first person to notice that she was different from before was not her family, nor was it Hua Chenhuan, but her best friend who had been separated from her for several months before this. Was it because onlookers saw more clearly, or had they actually already noticed that she was different, but did not say it out loud like Ling Xiaoqi? "But I can feel that you're still you. You're still the you I'm familiar with." Su Yiyan breathed a sigh of relief and said with a faint smile, "Yes, I've always been the Su Yiyan you're familiar with. This will never change. As for the change you mentioned, you can understand it as a person who is about to enter the hall of marriage has grown up and matured." Ling Xiaoqi accepted this explanation and agreed, "If that's the case, it's not a bad thing that you've changed a little. At the very least, I have a better eye for people now." Su Yiyan was stunned, but he quickly understood what she was referring to. He joked, "Just a little? All right, it's a lot. However, you still haven't told me why you suddenly broke off your engagement with Hua Xiaofeng and got engaged with his uncle so suddenly. Is there something I don't know about?" Su Yiyan thought that it was true. Previously, Ling Xiaoqi was abroad, so she did not tell her too much. She only told her that her engagement with Hua Xiaofeng was broken, and that she was engaged to another man who was in love with her. The wedding date was unchanged, and she had to come back early to be her bridesmaid. Perhaps because of this, Ling Xiaoqi, who originally planned to come back before the wedding, suddenly came back a month early to clarify the matter. "It's not that I suddenly understood and broke off my engagement with him. It's that he took a fancy to a girl, and in front of many people, he made a fuss and asked me to help them. As kind-hearted as I am, I naturally chose to help them when I encountered such a situation." Chapter 98. The volume of Ling Xiaoqi's roar was really not low. The people who were walking in front stopped and looked at them. Hua Chenhuan was fine, but Gu Xiaoyang's face was full of disillusionment. Should he say that she was indeed young madam's best friend? No matter how cute and harmless she looked, she still had a fierce and wild heart. Once she opened her mouth, all the pretense of gentleness was destroyed. Su Yiyan saw his expression and understood everything. She held back her laughter and tugged at Ling Xiaoqi's arm, reminding her, "Why are you swearing? Can't you see that you're scaring people?" Ling Xiaoqi's mouth twitched slightly. She lowered her voice and said, "Isn't it all because of you? Don't change the subject. What's going on with Hua Xiaofeng? That son of a bitch, how dare he cheat on me? He better not let me meet him, or I'll break his legs. You don't have to trouble yourself with that. I just beat him up 2 days ago. You can say that I've vented my anger. After that, Su Yiyan told her how Hua Xiaofeng forced her family to break off the engagement and how she slapped his family's face and changed the marriage partner to Hua Chenhuan. Also, 2 days ago, Hua Xiaofeng had come to stop her for no reason and said a lot of ridiculous and hateful things. She had beaten him up and sent him to the hospital. She had told her everything. Ling Xiaoqi was furious when she heard that. She wished she could travel back in time to a few days ago and beat Hua Xiaofeng up with Su Yiyan until his mother could not recognize him. He's gone too far, he's gone too far. Doesn't he know whether he has a fiancé or not? Since he has someone he likes, why didn't he break off the engagement with you earlier? He begged you in front of so many people with his so-called true love. He's acting like AB*TCH. Does he think he hasn't lost enough face and wants to drag you down with him? He actually has the face to say that he and that mistress are true love. Even if they don't become husband and wife, they can still be friends. F***CK friends. As expected, shameless people are invincible. Aya, why didn't I come back sooner? If I were here, I would definitely smash his head off. Hua Hua, who was nestled in Ling Xiaoqi's arms, screamed when it heard this. It turned around and buried its head in her arms, afraid that its master would lose control of her emotions and hit its head. Ling Xiaoqi, knowing that Ling Xiaoqi was sensitive to this kind of thing, Su Yiyan quickly comforted her. Okay, I know you're angry. Anyway, you're already back, and I'm now his nominal aunt. What's there to worry about in the future that I won't have a chance to punish that scumbag couple? Ling Xiaoqi's eyes brightened slightly, and her complexion improved a little. Then, she said worriedly, then you and Hua Xiaofeng's uncle, I know what you're thinking. Do you think I'm the kind of person who would force myself to settle for a moment of anger? That's true. Ling Xiaoqi suddenly understood and nodded. Not to mention anything else, just based on the interaction between the two of them, it was obvious that the two of them had feelings for each other. So, was this a lucky hit? Before Ling Xiaoqi could think about it, Dun Dun, who had been walking in front of Hua Chenhuan, suddenly turned back. It barked and circled Ling Xiaoqi. After barking for about half a minute, it suddenly lay on the ground, motionless, as if it had fainted. Ling Xiaoqi was shocked. What's wrong with it? Su Yiyan's eyebrows twitched, and she couldn't bear to look at it. It's a scam. It wants you to bring it home with you. Chapter 99. In the end, Dun Dun did not succeed. Originally, Ling Xiaoqi had begun to hesitate whether to bring it along. Su Yiyan also expressed that she did not want this traitorous dog. Victory was in sight, but they did not expect a Hua Hua to appear out of nowhere and beat Dun Dun again, almost making it bald on the other side of its head. In the end, it even kicked it out of Ling Xiaoqi's arms, patted its butt, and left with its owner, not taking a single strand of dog hair with it. Dun Dun did not succeed in the scam and was almost beaten into a bald dog by its future wife. The whole dog was dispirited. It lay on the ground and looked at the back of the Hua Hua with tears in its eyes. Those who did not know would think that it was going to part ways with the other party forever. Su Yiyan was angry and amused at the same time. After they left, she immediately pulled up an emoji of a throwing a dog in front of Dun Dun. Little ingrate, if you are so useless, I don't want you anymore. Just like this, I will throw you out. Dun Dun looked at the dog that was as meaty as it was thrown into the river by its owner. There was an emoji of Daddy doesn't want you anymore next to it. Its face was cold, and it was not threatened at all. Su Yiyan was angry, but Hua Chenhuan was very calm. She even taught it, if you like her, continue to chase her until she also likes you. If you are like this after just a little setback, you might as well give up now. Woof woof woof. Hua Chenhuan's words seemed to irritate Dun Dun. It suddenly raised its head and barked at Hua Chenhuan a few times. Hua Chenhuan's expression did not change. She said in a low voice, "What's the use of barking at me? Am I wrong? Woof woof woof, since you don't want to give up, then stay here and find a way to make her like you. Woof woof woof, you still have to ask me? Can't you use your brain? You are the one who wants to chase her, not me. Woof woof woof, I don't need it. We're in love with each other, unlike you. It's unrequited love. Hee hee. Su Yiyan. Hey, how are you two communicating across species? What happened to the two of you when I wasn't around these past few days? But no matter what, after Hua Chenhuan and Dundun's conversation, Dundun finally recovered. He even leaned against the car window and stared at the bald part of his head sadly, which made Gu Xiaoyang's eyelids twitch. This dog was indeed a demon. Hua Chenhuan had just finished lecturing Dundun when a faint sigh came from beside her. You're so clear and logical when it comes to educating others, but why are you backing down when it's your turn? Hua Chenhuan's body trembled. She subconsciously clenched her fists and said hoarsely, I won't. What? What you just said won't happen in the future. He now wished he could turn Su Yiyan into Thumbelina and hold her in his hands 24 hours a day. How could he watch someone who belonged to him be taken away by someone else like before? Su Yiyan took a few seconds to understand the meaning of Hua Chenhuan's words. Her eyes lit up, and she responded with great joy, okay. After receiving Ling Xiaoqi, Su Yiyan originally planned to accompany Hua Chenhuan for a while before going home. Unfortunately, the plan could not keep up with the changes. Before she had time to go home with Hua Chenhuan, her eldest brother called. Chapter 100. Su Yiyan was dumbfounded when she received the news. She immediately rejected Hua Chenhuan's offer to send her home and hurried back alone. What a joke. Her grandfather already had a lot of opinions about this marriage. If she allowed them to meet without any preparation, as the middleman, she was afraid that she would explode on the spot. Su Yiyan hurried back home. The first thing she saw was the stern-looking old man sitting in the middle of her living room. Su Yiyan's eyes immediately reddened. Without thinking, she rushed over and hugged her grandfather as she cried. Before old Master Ching came, he had already planned to teach this lawless and mischievous granddaughter a lesson. He wanted her to know that she shouldn't joke about her lifelong happiness like this. However, no matter how much he had prepared himself, when he saw his precious granddaughter's tears, he threw them out of his mind. All that was left was his heartache and anxiety for her. Why are you crying? Did that little brat from the family who bully you? Tell Grandpa, and Grandpa will take you to settle the score with them. When Su Yiyan heard old Master Cheng's words, her nose became even more sour. She hugged old Master Cheng's hand tightly and choked out, No, he's very good to me. He didn't bully me. Old Master Cheng's face was full of disbelief. If he didn't bully you, then why are you crying like this? Don't be afraid. Grandpa is here. Grandpa is here. Tell Grandpa, and Grandpa will help you. I really didn't. I just missed Grandpa too much. Now that I suddenly saw you, I couldn't help it. Miss me? Old Master Cheng was caught off guard by this sudden sugar-coated bullet. He stared at Su Yiyan for a long time. After making sure that she really didn't suffer any grievances, he snorted coldly and said angrily, You missed me, but you didn't come back to see me. You didn't even tell me before you made the decision to change your marriage partner. From what I see, you don't even care about your grandfather at all. When Su Yiyan heard this, she hurriedly said, How could I not care about Grandpa? It was just too sudden. That's right, that's right. Not to mention you, Dad, even the few of us who were there at that time were a little confused. When old Master Ching heard his daughter's words, he immediately changed the topic and scolded, Why are you in a daze? Yan Yan is young and immature, but you adults are also immature? Just let her do whatever she wants. Yes. It's our fault. We didn't stop her and let her do whatever she wanted. It's all our fault, all our fault. Judging from your tone, you think I've wronged you? Yan Yan used to be so obedient when he was with me. But this time, such a big thing happened. It must be because you adults fail to live up to expectations and cause trouble for her. Who else can I blame if not you? Qing Shuqin. Sure enough, after having a granddaughter, his daughter had fallen out of favor. She really didn't want to take the blame for this. Grandpa, don't blame my parents. I acted on my own accord. That day, something happened in the family Hua, and Mom and Dad were so angry that they lost their minds. They were so angry that they lost their minds, and so did you? In a fit of pique, you chose that one. Grandpa. Su Yiyan suddenly raised her voice and interrupted him. I don't like people mentioning that word. I know Grandpa has some prejudice against him because of me, but I hope Grandpa can love the house and its crow. Can you give him some respect? Chapter 101. You haven't even interacted with him before, so how would you know? Su Yiyan met old Master Cheng's eyes and said seriously, compared to a healthy man who doesn't love me and only sees me as an accessory, I want a life partner who loves me, respects me, and puts me first in everything. Old Master Cheng felt that her words made sense, so he immediately reacted. Why do you have to choose between the two of them? There are so many good men in this world. I don't believe that my granddaughter, who is so outstanding, can't find a healthy man who meets your requirements. There are so many good men in this world, but no one will treat me better than him. I only want him, and I don't want anyone else. Old Master Cheng was completely speechless. He wanted to get angry, but when he met the eyes that were almost identical to his late wife's, the anger in his belly seemed to have been splashed with a bucket of cold water. With a snort, it was extinguished. Are you serious? Yes. Su Yiyan didn't back down. I'm very serious, so serious that I can't be more serious. He couldn't hit her, but he couldn't bear to scold her. Old Master Cheng held it in for a long time, then turned his face away unhappily. Humph. When Su Yiyan saw his reaction, she immediately knew that she had passed most of his test. She quickly hugged his arm and said coquettishly, also, Grandpa, if you think about it this way, it's not completely bad for him. At least he can't beat me. If he really makes me angry, I can beat him down by myself. There's no need for you to stand up for me, is there? Humph, if he can't beat you, he naturally can't beat others. If he can't protect you, what's there to be proud of? He can't protect me, but I can protect him. If he can't beat me, then it's fine as long as I can, right? With my current skills, there shouldn't be many people who can beat me, right? Old Master Cheng was speechless. What she said made sense, and he couldn't refute it. Old Master Cheng, who was completely choked, snorted coldly. He stood up with the help of his walking stick and shouted at Su Yuxuan to take him to his room, completely ignoring Su Yiyan. As soon as the old man left, the tense atmosphere in the hall finally eased. Qin Shueru, who was Su Yiyan's aunt, heaved a sigh of relief. Only then was she able to speak to Su Yiyan for the first time. I'm afraid that you're the only one in our family who dares to speak to the old master like that. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh when she heard that. Grandpa only looks strict, but his heart is still very soft. Qin Shueru smiled and declined to comment. The old man was famous for his strictness, whether it was in their generation or the generation below. It was only in front of Su Yiyan that he would temporarily put away his coldness and reveal the last bit of softness in his heart. Even Qing Shuqin, who was the most favored in the past, had to take a back seat in front of his granddaughter. This was due to the fact that Su Yiyan's temperament was very similar to the old man's when he was young. It was also due to the fact that Su Yiyan's face was very similar to her grandmother who passed away early. Qin Shueru wasn't dissatisfied with this. She and her husband had been childless for so many years, and she had long regarded the two children of the Su family, especially the youngest, Su Yiyan, as her own children. If their children could gain the favor of their elders, they would naturally be happy as well. When she thought of this, a trace of sadness flashed across Qin Shueru's eyes. Chapter 102. As expected, Chin Shueru's attention was diverted. She smiled faintly and said, "The old man is in a hurry to come over. There are still many things to do at home, so your uncle stayed behind first. He will come over in 2 days after arranging the follow-up matters." In 2 days. Su Yayan pondered for a moment and suddenly asked, "Auntie, is your anemia better? The weather has been cold recently. Do your hands and feet often feel cold? Did you bring more clothes this time? If not, I'll ask my mom to prepare more for you later. Don't catch a cold." Qing Shuqin did not suspect anything and agreed, "Yes, yes, yes." Yan Yan is still the most thoughtful. "The weather has been quite cold these few days. You must not have brought many clothes since you came early. I'll ask someone to send more thick clothes over later. If you need anything else, let me know. We're all family, so don't stand on ceremony." Qin Shueru was stunned when she heard Su Yiyan's words. She was a little surprised that Su Yiyan knew that she had been anemic recently. Her anemia started a month ago. At first, she only felt dizzy and could not lift her spirits to do anything. Later, not only did it turn into dizziness, but it was also accompanied by abdominal pain for no reason. She could not find anything even when she checked with the detector. Originally, she was depressed because she wanted to have a child. Her body was always so unwell, and her appetite was not very good. In less than half a month, her weight dropped by almost 5 kilograms. Her husband was scared out of his wits, so he thought of sending his wife out for a walk to adjust her mood. After Qin Shueru recovered from her surprise, she spontaneously found an excuse for Su Yiyan, thinking that her husband told her. She smiled and said, "I've been a little anemic recently. Maybe it's because I'm tired from running around with your uncle. It's hard for you to think about it. I'm fine, don't worry." Qin Shueru's words indirectly confirmed Su Yiyan's guess. She looked at her remaining favorability points in advance and sighed in relief. "It's rare for Grandpa and Aunt to come here. Tonight, let me personally cook dinner to welcome you." Qin Shueru was shocked. Yan Yan can cook. Isn't that right? When Qing Shuqin heard that Su Yiyan was going to cook for them personally, he said, "I don't know when this child learned these strange things, and she even hid them from us. If we hadn't seen her tinkering in the kitchen alone some time ago, we wouldn't have known. But fortunately, the food she cooks is not bad. It's just that she doesn't cook for us often. We've only eaten it once before. Tonight, thanks to you guys, we can at least try her cooking again." Qing Shuqin spoke in a plaintive tone, but Qin Shueru thought that she was giving herself a heads up. She secretly decided that no matter how Su Yiyan's dishes tasted, she would pretend to like them very much. No matter what, she couldn't let down the child's good intentions. Su Yiyan did not know what Qin Shueru was thinking. He made a preview 2 hours in advance and posted the main content of today's live broadcast on the top of the live broadcast room. Su Yiyan had announced in her live broadcast the day before that the next live broadcast would not be scheduled, but once it was confirmed, it would be posted in the live broadcast room. At this time, there were still many viewers waiting in the live broadcast room regularly, waiting for her announcement. This time, the live broadcast preview really appeared, and they took a look at the content of the preview. Many people were stunned and went crazy. Chapter 103. At this time, the composition of Su Yiyan's fans was a bit complicated. There were gourmet fans, health fans, some patient fans who were recommended by their friends, and some anti-fans who saw her quickly become popular. There were also many local tycoons in the live broadcast room who were anti-fans. As soon as Su Yiyan's preview came out, the health fans and patient fans excitedly rushed to spread the news. The gourmet fans who were attracted by the spicy boiled fish and spicy crayfish were at a loss. Those jealous anti-fans seemed to have finally found Su Yiyan's weakness and began to chase after those excited true fans to mock and ridicule them. They said that Su Yiyan's live broadcast preview was sensationalism and was deliberately trying to attract people's attention. Su Yiyan was busy finalizing tonight's menu. she didn't have the energy to pay attention to those crazy people on the internet. Since the two of them arrived early, Su Yiyan didn't make much preparation in advance. She could only try to find medicinal cuisine recipes suitable for their physiques from some of the Chinese herbs she already had. Fortunately, when Xing Shuqin talked to her about Qin Shueru, Su Yiyan had already consciously prepared the Chinese herbs suitable for her. Now, she just collected the first batch that matured, which was enough to come in handy. When Su Yiyan prepared the herbs and ingredients and opened the live broadcast room, she found that the audience in the live broadcast room had risen by another wave, and it was still increasing. In just a moment, it had reached 500,000. This figure had already surpassed the scope of a newcomer streamer on Munchkin.net. It could be considered a slightly famous and capable streamer. Su Yiyan blinked and said in a daze and surprise, "What happened? Did someone enter the wrong live broadcast room?" Hearing Su Yiyan's words, many of the audience in the live broadcast room turned on ha-ha-ha mode. Su Yiyan searched for a long time before she finally found a useful reply from the screen full of ha-ha-ha. It turned out that the spicy boiled fish and spicy crayfish that she made before were pushed to the public platform by Xiaoyuning Shi and others not long after she went offline. Although the recording screen was not as convenient as the live broadcast, where one could turn on the taste and smell simulator to taste it on the spot, the bright red dishes looked particularly appetizing. Coupled with the flattery from the live audience who had participated in the live broadcast, many people who had not watched the live broadcast could not help but drool at the recording screen. As soon as they heard that Su Yiyan had started a live broadcast, they immediately rushed over in groups. They were afraid that they would miss out on the delicacies that had been praised to the heavens. After figuring out the ins and outs of the matter, Su Yiyan breathed a sigh of relief. Yan Yan glanced at the upper right corner, where the number of viewers had increased by nearly 100,000 in just a few minutes. His eyes flashed, and he went straight to the point. "Hello, new viewers and old viewers who have watched my live streams. Welcome to Yan Yan's Little Kitchen. I'm your host, Yan Yan. There are elderly people at home today, so I have to make some dishes suitable for them." Old man? Wasn't it supposed to be a medicinal cuisine that could increase a woman's fertility? How did he become an old man? Although some of the audience members were doubtful, their words were still considered mild. However, the anti-fans were not so polite. They did not care how Su Yiyan would explain later and started to attack him in a sarcastic manner. Chapter 104. The anti-fans' words not only ridiculed Su Yiyan, but also stabbed the hearts of the female audience who loved children but could not conceive due to various physical reasons. They were holding on to a slim chance of survival and had entered the show with a knife in their hearts. Su Yiyan's face sank. She had been broadcasting for a few days, and occasionally saw one or two comments questioning her. However, it was the first time she had seen such harsh words. Su Yiyan was really angry this time. She said coldly, "Admin, ban." In fact, she didn't need to say anything. Hua Chenhuan had already started to investigate the IP ban. However, after she said that, there were immediately many comments scolding her for her bad temper and acting like a big shot. Looking at the rows of comments with the same tone, it was obvious that there was a mastermind behind the scenes. Unfortunately, these people didn't even have the chance to start the momentum before they were all banned by the admin. Su Yiyan looked at the screen that suddenly became much quieter, and her face became slightly better. "I know that most of the viewers who came to watch my broadcast are either here to watch the show or to try their luck with a doubtful heart. In this regard, I can only say that you can watch the show or not believe me. However, this is my broadcast, and I welcome people who like me. As for those who don't like me and can't stand me, please consciously leave. Of course, I don't care if you want to stay and torture yourself. However, please shut your stinky mouth and don't say anything that makes me and my viewers uncomfortable. Otherwise, if you mess with me, I'll mess with you. I don't lack money, fame, or connections. Before you touch me, you should consider whether your ability and background can bear the consequences of my anger. I'll say the ugly words first. I'm a very hard-hearted person. Even if you're half dead and kneeling to beg me to let you go, I won't be soft-hearted and forgive you. Su Yiyen's words not only scared the trolls who were still restless after their accounts were banned, but also scared many viewers in the broadcast. A portion of the audience felt that Su Yiyen's words were too harsh and chose to leave. However, the majority of the audience still chose to stay. Su Yiyen didn't care about what these people thought. She wasn't someone who would let herself be wronged. If she couldn't stand it, she would fight back. She didn't start this live stream for fame or profit. She just wanted to accumulate a little bit of favorability. As for those who were prejudiced against her, how could she expect to gain favorability from them? Those who had a good impression of her and were grateful to her, such as the audience from her first live stream, would do their best to help her. As for these people who hadn't helped her at all and even wanted to mess with her, it was already good enough that she didn't get back at them. Did they expect her to greet them with a smile? She didn't owe them anything. If there's nothing else, let's return to the main topic. Su Yiyen's voice successfully drew the attention of the remaining viewers, and the comments on the screen instantly became denser. Su Yiyen looked at the much more harmonious bullet screen, and the corners of her lips curled up again. She continued the words that she didn't finish before. There's an elderly at home today, so I'm preparing some dishes that are suitable for the elderly stomach. Of course, there are also 1 or 2 soups and desserts that are more nourishing for girls. Chapter 105. As Su Yiyen spoke, he suddenly thought of something and said meaningfully, "As usual, the viewers who scolded the host in my live broadcast room will not participate in the lucky draw." At that time, the audience did not know that the rules set by Hua Chenhuan would make those who had scolded Su Yiyen break down. As long as one was human, they would not be able to escape from birth, old age, illness, and death. No one could guarantee whether their illness would come first or tomorrow. This was also the reason why no one dared to offend a doctor, no matter how rich or powerful they were. You could not guarantee that you would fall into his hands one day. By then, whether he saved you or not would be a matter of life and death. The remaining viewers did not think too much about it. They only knew that after the keyboard warriors who caused trouble were kicked out, their chances would be greater. This was really exciting news. However, when they looked up and saw that the number of viewers was still increasing, they felt as if they had been splashed with a bucket of cold water. It did not seem to increase by much. Considering that stewing soup would take more time, Su Yiyen took out 2 casseroles for stewing soup first. Today, we are going to stew 2 soups. The first soup is the one that you guys are more concerned about. It is abalone and ginseng soup that has a certain effect on premature ovarian failure in girls. As soon as Su Yiyen finished speaking, a lot of comments appeared on the screen asking, "What is premature ovarian failure?" Premature ovarian failure? It literally means that the ovaries decline early. The specific symptoms are abnormal menstrual cycle and reduced menstrual volume. Simply put, it is early amenorrhea or even menopause. Unable to ovulate normally, naturally, there is no way to conceive a child. As Su Yiyen spoke, he fished out a few fat and big abalones and cleaned them neatly. As soon as these abalones appeared, the audience in the live broadcast room felt the power of money. F***CK, I've seen this before. I saw it from afar when I accompanied the boss on a business trip. It is said that it is the signature dish of a high-class restaurant. There are only 5 servings a day, and the ingredients alone are worth at least 6 digits. Moreover, there was only 1 small abalone in the plate at that time. It was definitely not as big as this one. Actually, I wanted to say this before. Most of the ingredients used in the live broadcast room look better than those sold in the market. Everyone should know how expensive natural ingredients are on the market. To be able to buy such high-quality ingredients, the price, I noticed it during the last live stream. Let's not talk about other natural ingredients. Let's talk about seafood. Although it tasted bad if it wasn't processed properly, the market price was really high. The big grass carp and crayfish that the streamer used in the last live broadcast, the poor me hugged my cheap nutrient solution tightly. To be able to casually take out so many expensive ingredients for a live broadcast, what the streamer said just now might not be a bluff. Her family might really have a mine and not be short of money. When Su Yiyan finished processing the abalones, he saw these comments as soon as he looked up. Even through the screen, she could feel that these people were looking at the abalone in her hand like it was a piece of gold. Su Yiyan was amused by her own idea. She put the washed abalone and the lean meat into the clay pot, and then added the wolfberries. Finally, he took out a huge ginseng that he had spent a huge sum of money to exchange for. Chapter 106. What's this? It looks white and plump, like a radish, but it has whiskers. Radishes don't seem to have whiskers. You're wrong. Radishes actually have whiskers, but they're removed after being pulled out. Don't ask me how I know. I helped a friend pull out radishes a few years ago. You're making up stories. So, this is a radish? Radish stewed with abalone? I feel like something's wrong. Su Yiyan's mouth twitched when he saw that the audience in the live stream had almost completely identified the thing in his hand as a radish. He took a deep breath and said, "This isn't a radish, it's ginseng." Ginseng is a very useful Chinese herb. Every part of its body can be used as medicine, and the medicinal effects are different. Today, we need to use this part of its meat. Su Yiyan pointed at the round white meat that was mistaken for a radish. Because ginseng has a strong medicinal effect, it has a bitter taste. Usually, only a little bit will do. Su Yiyan put the huge ginseng aside as he spoke. He took out the slices of ginseng that he had cut earlier and put them into the pot. Alright, let's just let it stew for now. Next, we'll make the second soup, lotus seed and date stewed duck soup. Those who watched my live stream before should know what I'm talking about. Those who don't know, go back and watch the recorded broadcast. Now, let's talk about the lotus seeds. Su Yiyan poured out a bowl of fresh and white lotus seeds. He broke them open and took out the lotus core as he said, "These are lotus seeds." They were peeled from the lotus seed pod, and they smell very fragrant. Lotus seeds are good for qi and have the effect of stabilizing the spirit and calming the mind. Eating them will not only nourish the spleen and stomach, but also reduce internal heat and help sleep. Old people don't get enough sleep, so eating them is very useful for sleep. But you have to take note that there's a heart in the middle of the lotus seed, which is this small green strip. This heart is bitter. Friends who seek a good texture can peel it off. Don't throw it away after you peel it off. Dry it and use it to make tea to reduce internal heat. After saying so much, we don't even know where to buy this stuff, let alone eat it. You found a point. I just went to the shopping site to search for ginseng and lotus seeds, but there's nothing. It's not just ginseng and lotus seeds. The red dates, seahorses, and a series of so-called medicinal herbs that the host used before are not sold on the internet QAQ. That's right. If you have the guts to introduce them, then tell us where to buy them. Woof, cry out loud. Su Yiyan was stunned when he saw these complaints. He stopped what he was doing and muttered to himself. Just when the audience in the live stream thought that she had finally been persuaded and was ready to announce the source of these medicinal herbs and advertise for the audience to buy them, Lin Yiqian suddenly changed her mind. That slender and fair hand suddenly grabbed a lotus seed that had lost its core and moved upwards, leaving the range of the live broadcast room. Then, the host's soft chewing sounds and sighs of enjoyment could be heard. It's sweet and refreshing. It's quite delicious. The audience? Without waiting for the audience to come back to their senses, Su Yiyan's hand once again reached for the plate of lotus seeds. After eating a few of them, his evil claws reached for the bowl of jujubes next to him. Only then did the audience realize that this unscrupulous streamer was actually eating the ingredients in front of them. Chapter 107. However, after Su Yiyan's ruckus, the viewers in the live stream finally realized that the tender lotus seeds and red dates could be eaten raw. The crowd no longer cared about the issue of the purchase of the ingredients. They scrambled to try the 2 ingredients. Oh, these red dates taste sweet. It's great as a snack. I can't stop eating them one by one. I prefer this white lotus seed. It's especially refreshing. It's not greasy at all. Some people were even curious and secretly tasted the leftover ginseng slices. This ginseng is really bitter. I almost spat it out when I first ate it. However, after a while, I realized that the bitterness gradually disappeared and became a little sweet. It's a very special taste. Suddenly, the viewers changed the topic and began to discuss the taste of the ingredients and their own tastes. They had temporarily forgotten their previous doubts. Su Yayan saw that their attention had been diverted, so she did not do something as infuriating as eating the ingredients. She put all the ingredients into the pot, added some water, and started to cook. At the beginning of the live stream, Su Yayan said that there were elderly people in the house, so they should be prioritized when cooking. Su Yayan studied for a long time and finally decided on 4 dishes and a porridge. They were garlic roasted eel, tomato fried cauliflower, celery braised tofu, orange peel beef, and millet pumpkin porridge. Although she did not use the Chinese herbs she had on hand, garlic, eel, tomatoes, celery, tofu, and beef were more suitable for the elderly stomach and could be eaten more. The viewers in the live stream were very happy to see Su Yayan cook so many dishes at once. Most importantly, they could find the ingredients for these dishes. Even if they could not get their hands on them in the lottery, they could buy them and try them out at home. The only thing that was a little lost was the orange peel beef. There were oranges in this era, but most people's impression of oranges was very simple. They felt that it was a fruit. The flesh of the fruit could be eaten, but the outer skin was naturally useless and needed to be thrown away. Orange peel is the finished product of the outer skin of the orange after being dried. It's sweet and sour with a bit of bitterness. It's a good choice to make tea or stew. It's appetizing and can help with digestion. As soon as Su Yayan said that, the audience immediately went wild with joy. So, orange peels can be eaten? I feel like I've missed out on 100 million. Yes, yes, yes. Previously, when I ate the oranges, I ate the meat and threw away the skin. Now that I think about it, my heart hurts. I don't care anymore. I'm going to buy a caddy of oranges now. I'll peel them and dry them. How can 1 caddy be enough? I'll go buy 3 caddies. I've already placed an order for 5 kilograms. It'll be here soon. Great. I'm in awe of the nouveau riche above. Buying 5 kilograms of tangerines is like buying 10 bottles of nutrient solution. I'm so envious and jealous. At this time, Su Yayan still did not know that because of his words, he had indirectly increased the sales of oranges in the market. Not long after that, there was a strange phenomenon of a shortage of oranges in the market. Compared to the time-consuming process of stewing soup, stir-frying vegetables was much faster. By the time Su Yayan finished cooking the other 4 dishes and the porridge, the first 2 types of soup were almost ready. Chapter 108. The audience, who had been mesmerized by the table full of hot dishes and had turned on the taste simulator to try the finished product without Su Yayan's instructions, were quickly attracted by the transparent fungus in Su Yayan's hand. Host, what's this? Why is it transparent? Can it be eaten? How can the host's food be inedible? This thing looks quite springy. It should taste good. Su Yayan was amused by the group of foodies' tireless thirst for knowledge. This is tremella, a type of fungus. It's rich in protein, various amino acids, and minerals. Eating more of it can not only beautify and nourish one's skin, strengthen one's immune system, and prolong one's life. Beautifying and nourishing one's skin and prolong one's life were enough to capture the hearts of many girls and elders at home. Once people got older, they would find that no amount of money could fight against the invasion of time. At this time, health became a knot in many people's hearts. It made people subconsciously start to take care of their health, striving to live longer and suffer less from the pain of illness. Su Yiyan first soaked the tremella to remove the stalk, then boiled it for a while with milk. After it was cooked, he put it aside to cool it down. After that, he took out kiwis, cherry tomatoes, and other fruits and cut them into small pieces for later use. Seeing these fruits, the audience in the live broadcast room became jealous again, shedding tears of poverty. By the time the 2 pots of soup were ready, the milk was almost cold. When the fruit pieces were put in, the red and green colors were very beautiful, immediately hitting the hearts of many girls. This dessert looks really beautiful. I can't bear to eat it. I can't bear to eat it either. When I think of how many kinds of fruits are put in it, I feel like I'm eating RMB. My heart hurts. Since you all don't want to eat it, I'll be polite. Oh, it's soft and fragrant, and there are sweet fruits. To have such a small sweet soup after a meal, I'll be as happy as a fairy. In the face of delicious food, many people would say they didn't want it, but their bodies were honest. Especially since they were just testing the taste simulator. Even if they ate it, it wouldn't affect the food in the real world. They would be fools if they didn't take advantage of such a great opportunity. It was almost 6:00 when the tremella's sweet soup was finished. In order to save time, Su Yiyan only prepared 1 round of lucky draws. 8 people would be chosen at once, and each person would be given a dish. Su Yiyan emphasized to the lucky audience who drew the abalone ginseng soup. This soup is more effective for patients with premature ovarian failure with both yin and yang. If there's someone around you who fits this condition, you can let her try it. Upon hearing Su's words, that person immediately asked curiously, "What's a patient with premature ovarian syndrome?" "It's just that I'm lacking in both qi and blood. It might be a little hard to understand if I put it this way. In short, it's people. Calm of them was calm." Hua Chenhuan's account was very lucky to draw a lotus seed and date duck soup. Su Yiyan knew that the soup was good for him, but when he thought of how this person deliberately pretended to be a cute girl in front of him, he couldn't help but want to tease him. Chapter 109. On the other end of the phone, Hua Chenhuan frowned when he saw the message. He immediately recalled the fear he felt when Su Yiyan's first live stream was dominated by the word old people. Mountain Yufusu, only old people can drink it? Can't young people drink it? Su Yiyan could feel someone's sadness through the screen. He burst out laughing. "Yen, of course, you got the soup from the lucky draw. You can drink it however you like." "Goodly." JPG, Hua Chenhuan's expression became better. He waited for his spoils of war with satisfaction. Gu Xiaoyang stood behind him and watched their conversation. His eyebrows twitched. He coughed softly and asked tentatively, "Young master, are you always so cold when you talk to Miss Su?" "Cold?" Hua Chenhuan's eyes were slightly cold. He turned to look at him in confusion. Gu Xiaoyang's forehead was covered in cold sweat, but he still explained under great pressure, "Yes, you are now a viewer of Miss Su's live stream. You are someone who likes her. Isn't it too cold to talk to her in such a tone? Miss Su may feel that you are not easy to get along with. Over time, she may not take the initiative to message you like this." Hua Chenhuan's expression changed slightly. He frowned and said, "How can I make people feel that I am not cold? How do ordinary fans talk to the people they like?" Gu Xiaoyang pondered for a moment and gave a reasonable answer, "Flattery." "Flattery?" "Flattery means that they use all kinds of compliments to praise their idols." Hua Chenhuan's eyes lit up. He felt that this was a good idea. "Where can I find flattery from these fans? What's so difficult about that? Let me find it." Gu Xiaoyang said and began to search for famous flattery on the internet. After a few minutes, he finally found a more reliable guide. Hua Chenhuan clicked on the post and was almost blinded by the flattery on the screen. Beginner flattery, does such beauty really exist? I can lick this face for the rest of my life. Go, baby, you're the best. From today onwards, you're the prettiest kid on the street. Did you grow up eating cornetto? What kind of peerless cutie is this? Middle-level rainbow fart, there are sparks in your eyes. It ignited a fire in my heart, making me unable to forget you for the rest of my life. The moment I saw you, Cupid's arrow pierced my heart. From then on, I deeply realized that I was in love. 10,000 miles of mountains and rivers can't compare to your smile. Mountains and rivers can't compare to your tear. Advanced rainbow fart, your eyes are as deep as the universe, with thousands of galaxies in them. Your nose is as tall and straight as a towering mountain, and the curves of the mountains are leisurely. Your lips are as bright as a midnight rose, graceful and passionate. You're so pure and unpretentious. You're straightforward and serious, yet you're so flirtatious and charming that people can't take their eyes off you. However, what I love most is your heart of gold, precious, soft, and untainted by dust. It starts with your appearance and is loyal to your character. Baby, fly bravely, XXX will always be with you. Hua Chenhuan was speechless. Was he going to talk to his wife in such an exaggerated tone in the future? Chapter 110. Su Yayan still did not know that her fiancé had accidentally been led into a ditch and opened the door to a new world. After the live broadcast ended and the prizes were given out, she hurriedly brought the dishes out. Old Master Qing went upstairs to catch up on his sleep. When he woke up, he heard Qing Xiuqin say that his precious granddaughter was going to cook for him personally tonight. He looked calm on the surface, but he was overjoyed on the inside. He went downstairs half an hour earlier to wait for the food. Qing Xiuqin and the rest saw it but didn't expose him. They waited quietly with him. Not long after, the aroma of cooking dishes wafted from the kitchen. Mr. Su and the rest, who had tasted Su Yiyan's cooking earlier, had their eyes lit up. Their hands didn't stop moving, but their eyes and hearts had long been hooked by the tempting aroma. Qin Shueru, who hadn't tasted Su Yiyan's cooking, wasn't as calm as them. She had thought that Su Yiyan was just being polite when she said that she wanted to cook personally. But now that she smelled the aroma, she couldn't sit still. The one cooking in the kitchen now is Yan Yan? Qing Xiuqin was all smiles, and even his tone had a hint of smugness. Who else can it be if not her? When did Yan Yan learn to cook like this? When Junhao and I came here previously, we also ate your Aunt Li's cooking. It didn't seem to be as fragrant as her cooking. I'm not sure either. She said that she read books with Aunt Li and thought about it in her free time. She's grown up and has her own opinions. She doesn't like to tell us anything now. If it wasn't for the fact that she said that she wanted to help that person nourish his body, we wouldn't have known that she had studied this in private. Qing Xiuqin's words had a subtle hint of jealousy. Qin Shueru blinked and probed, that person? Are you referring to Yan Yan's fiancé? Is he not in good health? Other than his legs, he should be fine. It's just that he's busy with work and doesn't have a good appetite after staying up too much. This girl is so nervous that she stews soup and makes tonics. From the looks of it, their relationship is pretty good. At least Yan Yan really likes him. What about him? Are you good to Yan Yan? It looks good now, but I'm afraid that in the future. Let's talk about the future in the future. Since both of you are in love with each other, let's see how things go first. If he dares to mistreat Yan Yan after we get married, we won't agree to it either, right? You and brother-in-law are still young. No matter what, you can still protect Yan Yan for a few more decades. If not, there's still Junhao and I, and Yushuan. We won't let Yan Yan suffer. Qing Xiuqin nodded. Only then did she feel a little relieved. While the two of them were talking, the aroma coming out of the kitchen became stronger. At first, Su Yushuan and the others could still pretend that nothing was wrong and sit in the living room to watch TV, read newspapers, and read books. Later, They really couldn't take it anymore and began to walk in circles impatiently. Old Master Cheng was a little annoyed by Su Yuxuan's circling. He knocked his walking stick on the ground and scolded with a dark face, "How old are you? You're still so impatient. No wonder you still can't find a wife." Su can't find a wife, Yuxuan. He was a single dog. Who had he offended? Qin Shueru laughed and tried to smooth things over. Yuxuan is hungry, right? Young people get hungry quickly. Old Master Cheng snorted. What's wrong with young people being hungry? In the end, he's still not mature enough. As soon as he finished speaking, his stomach growled loudly. It was so loud that it was difficult to ignore it. Everyone, you're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.